So this guy Jack Brewer, I mean, literally has the most common sense out of a football player that I have seen in a very long time. So if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, Donald Trump, and everybody knows that Donald Trump criticized Elijah Cummings for Baltimore, and the media went crazy. Everybody called him a racist. But what they don't tell you is that a black man, Jack Brewer, former NFL player, is the one that told President Trump to call out Baltimore, the one that gave him the information and had a discussion with him about why it's important for us to address these issues in Baltimore that nobody's addressing, especially not the people on the left in the Democratic Party. They're not talking about it. Elijah Cummings, he's not talking about the problems in his own city, but he runs and he jumps at the border issues. He runs and jumps at national issues that, like the gentleman said, that's going to get him votes. Black people are not voting for his campaign. They don't have the black people in that community are not, you know, packed with money to fund the super PAC and get him reelected. So he don't care. He don't talk about their issues. They're the constituency that he doesn't really care about. And I'm not just saying this because I disagree with Elijah Cummings. I'm saying this because it's coming out of the mouths of the people that live in that community. It's coming out of the mouths of people who understand what's going on in Baltimore, that can see that the murder rate in Baltimore is competitive with Chicago. And we know how bad Chicago is. And in some of the research that I've done, it's even worse than Chicago. Per capita murder rate in Baltimore is actually worse than Chicago per 100,000 people. And if you look at a city of its size, it's number one on the charts in murder rate. We could talk about the failing schools. We could talk about the fatherless homes. We could talk about the grime and the dirt and the rats and all the infestations that are going on in that community that's being neglected by the politicians. And the gentleman also said that it's about the family. It's about people leaving and not associating themselves with God like they used to. Therefore, they falling through the cracks. They're not adhering to the things that have been sustainable in their communities. And I'm so glad he said it, man. It blew my mind when I heard the gentleman talk, because NFL players don't get a good rap because some of the ones that they want to hear from, the more popular players, they don't really have good points. They don't really sound educated on the matter. Colin Kaepernick versus Jack Brewer is night and day. Colin Kaepernick is disrespecting the flag and don't really have an articulable fact pattern that would suggest that anything that he's doing makes any sense, and it has a residual effect that will be positive. We can look at it now. I mean, what has Colin Kaepernick done that has stopped anything? It hasn't stopped violence in the black community. It hasn't stopped what he would call police brutality or negative interactions between police and African Americans. None of that has changed since he went on record and took a knee and did all the shenanigans that he did. But the gentleman Jack Brewer, I mean, by far, in my honest opinion, has laid out the land work, or we can call it I almost said landmines, but maybe for the Democrats those are landmines. But he laid out the groundwork is what the word I was trying to find, to really illustrate what we need to do to help these communities be more successful. And I love the fact that he was bold about saying, look, I asked Donald Trump 3 weeks ago to point this out and to criticize these leaders about what's going on in Baltimore, and he did it. And I think that's phenomenal, man. That speaks to me. That's another illustration of why President Trump is not a racist. They swear that he hates black people and he's a white nationalist, white supremacist, and all this stuff. But he's listening and hearing from people of color, what they would call, and I would call them Americans of African descent. He's listening to them and he's actually taking action. They wanted him to do something with Baltimore, a black man who's not even that popular. I'd never even heard of the guy. They wanted him to do something about Baltimore, and what he do? He did it. Hundreds of black pastors that are coming to the White House. Kim Kardashian, coming to the White House. Her and Kanye West actually getting people released from prison. He's actually responding to the things and the concerns of people in the black community, but they don't want you to know that. They just want to be racist. But on an independent level, on a city by city, municipality by municipality, and even county level, people are seeing the positive effects of what Trump is doing, and they're not being bamboozled by the fake mainstream media. That we all are really waking up to noticing that is becoming increasingly fake. More and more, every time you turn on the television, CNN is talking trash about President Trump. I mean, they're not even reporting on the news that people want to hear about. They're not reporting on the issues of the people. They talk about Trump 24/7. 24/7. And they're not just talking about him. They're not giving adequate information and facts. They're fear mongering. They're calling man a racist every day. And then they wonder why people crack up and start attacking other people. It's the rhetoric from the left that's causing people to go crazy, not the rhetoric from the president. But anyway, I just want to throw this out here. I'm about to get in bed, but I think people need to know, as the president continues to troll these people and continue to be 2 or 3 steps ahead of the game, they're just looking dumber and dumber. He knew for a fact that a black man told him to point out the issues. He knew for a fact that Elijah Cummings' district was trash. He knew for a fact that they have to oppose him, so they're going to all jump on Elijah Cummings' side. And then once all the facts and circumstances actually come to fruition, he's going to look like the winner. He's going to look like the one that's rooted in truth and facts. So anyway, if you like the video, like and subscribe, hit the bell. If you didn't like the video, make a comment. You know, I love to hear what you disagree with. But the most important thing is make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you visit the store as well. The Officer Tatum store. Life starts at conception, not perception. We got tons of merch. We just released this new Trump definition shirt, which I love. And I hope everybody wear it to just troll the mess out of the left. But visit the store, man. I love you guys. I appreciate you watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.